day has finally arrived. Notion Mail is officially available to all. The question is this truly a new approach to email, and is it worth it for you? As I publish this, everyone can get their hands on what might be the most significant addition to the Notion ecosystem in years. And well, it's so big, Notion have even sponsored this video. But as always, rest assured, I've agreed to only publish my honest thoughts and feedback.
I love email. I hate email.
Many of you have shared that you find email overwhelming and time-consuming, making it one of your biggest barriers to being able to actually focus on the important stuff and move the needle. And as existing Notion users, well, we just want to be able to integrate email with our Notion workspace. In this video, I'm going to walk you through everything you need to know about Notion Mail and to what extent it solves those issues. We're going to cover what makes it truly different from other email apps. Spoiler, it's much more than a Google wrapper and possibly a superhuman competitor. We'll touch on how to set it up and get started, and I'll test the key features that actually solve real email pain points to help you save time and be more effective in your communication. And I'll share my honest thoughts on what's missing and what's coming next from the inside scoop talking to them. And I've got some insider info on likely future updates that I think you're really going to want to hear about at the end of the video. The headline, well, through Notion's signature approach to simplicity and organization, they've created a strikingly fresh set of email tools and AI extensions that help us all create a bespoke inbox that thinks a bit more like us. So if you're a Notion user or just someone drowning in email chaos looking for a better way, this video's for you. Let's go. So what exactly is Notion Mail, and is it for you? Now it's past its beta testing, at its core, it's an email application that integrates directly with Gmail. For now, everything you do in Notion Mail automatically syncs back to Gmail and vice versa, so you're not losing any data and having to manage multiple inboxes. Now listen, I know what you and probably a lot of people might be thinking. Isn't this just a fancy wrapper for Gmail? That's a fair question, but the answer I think is no, and for two important reasons. First, this is clearly just the beginning. Notion is already working on support for wider providers like Apple Mail, with Outlook hopefully coming soon, and they're starting with Gmail because it's most widely used, but the roadmap is much more ambitious. Secondly, and more importantly, Notion Mail offers a suite of customizable organizational features, built-in scheduling, customizable snippets for quicker emailing, AI drafting, and filtering tools that go far beyond what Gmail already offers. It also offers deep integration with Notion Calendar and Pages, and I think that's going further. These tools absolutely help you manage email in a more intentional and effective way and build inboxes around how you want to work. They could even replace other tools in your workflow. For example, I currently use a combination of ChatGPT and Make.com to sort and manage the first customer and partnership inquiries I get in my email accounts. Notion Mail could potentially replace that entire system for free, or at least very little cost, all within one workspace. That's a game changer for productivity and simplicity. Now, for now, Notion Mail is launching with support for Google accounts only, whether that's your personal gmail.com account or a custom domain that uses Google Workspace. It's available on web and Mac desktop at launch, and other platforms will be coming soon. It's also great to see that Notion have focused on privacy too. Thank goodness, right? That means, if this makes any sense to you, Notion Mail is GDPR and CCPA compliant and SOC 2 Type 1 certified. So that basically means there's no training on your data and it won't go to the wrong people. Overall, I think we can trust it. I'm also happy to see Notion Mail allows you to read emails anywhere with an offline mode, something coming finally to the core Notion app quite soon. But I think most importantly, Notion Mail is free to all users. Okay, given if you want to unlock the AI features for auto-labeling emails and getting writing assistance, you'll need to get Notion AI added on. But they are giving everyone a free trial to experience the value, and AI will be available if you have access to any linked workspace with AI turned on in that account. Okay, time to jump into the feature breakdown and demo. But before that, if you are new here, you might just want to check out my wider Notion and productivity guides by getting subscribed, and do jump over to bettercreating.com, where you can find my celebrated Notion Life OS second brain templates and smaller template solutions that can help you kind of skip the learning and building curve in Notion to fast track to a minimal setup. I'd love to have you in the community because it's getting quite big. Okay, first of all, how to get started. So for existing Notion users, sign in with your Notion account and your mail account will automatically be tied to your login email. So your Notion mail account is the same as your Notion account. So for me, I'm going to click sign in with Google. There is my Notion account. And we can see I'm logged in as I need to be. And as you've seen there, if you sign up for mail with your Google account and you don't have a Notion account, it will just create a Notion account associated with that mail account, if that makes sense. So in Notion, this would be created as a basic setup. Now, you can within here add other accounts. So if I go and do that, if I created a new one, I can't have two emails under the same Notion account. But I could, for example, log in with my Notion Better Creating email and it would open Notion Mail, but it would be linked to my Notion account. I hope that makes some sense. Okay, after connecting, if you go into settings, you can customize your inbox settings, including whether you want light, dark mode, or system. And you can choose how thread styles appear. I personally prefer side peek, so that when you click on an email, it'll pop up at the side like that, which is nice. And on this side, we have views. And when you first log in, it will give you options to have some pre-built basic inbox organizations, such as Inbox Zero, Classic, and Priority. Personally, I like to build this out myself once you're there. You'll see it's also imported all of my existing Gmail filters into the system. There are some basic snippets, which we'll talk about in a minute, that come in, like scheduling and outreach. This is an example of one that's already in there, and we'll talk about some of these things later, but I've already started adding some of my own, which is really good. And you can ensure that you can turn on or off the default signature. I like to turn that off personally, and you can only currently edit your signature by opening up Gmail, but mine's all set up, so I don't need to worry. And you've got the option there of whether you include replies and forwards, which I'm going to leave on. We'll come back to Notion AI and auto labeling in a little bit. And finally, on the home screen, I really love this. We've got a link to Notion Calendar where I can see my key items pop up. That integration is only going to get deeper. And then you can click through to Notion, which will take you directly to whatever Notion page you've got open, which I think is great. And we're getting that now, as you can see in Notion. So you can click back to jump between the views. Now, one of my favorite things about the Notion interface is this little hover over element where you can choose what you can do, like markers in red, set a reminder, which is very nice. You can add things into your calendar. You can select it from here. So there's that deeper integration with Notion Calendar, and do things like label an item based on all of your labels. So I've got priority labels in here, but I've also got all of my existing Gmail labels. And if you want to update these, you just need to go up to the little settings on the edit view, go to customize hover over actions, and for each inbox, you can update what you want. So for example, in this inbox, maybe I want to add a quick reply to sender or to open the command palette. So let's say I wanted to have more actions. If I add that into it, now when I go here, I can click on command and you can see one of the other great features, which if you press Command K, you have an entire set of options that you can work with. I think it really is quite powerful. Next, before we talk about what's missing and getting that inside perspective on what I think is coming to Notion Mail very soon, let's break down the most exciting features that I think make Notion Mail really unique. All right, first up, on the feature list, we've got to talk about views. This is a really powerful feature in Notion Mail. And unlike Google's sidebar, where each label is a separate view, Notion Mail views are very much more flexible. So this is an example of one where I'm using a filter to filter where the labels are certain Gmail labels. And then what I've been able to do is check to say that they're only things that are in the inbox or sent, and you can allocate other elements. And then I've grouped by status. So this is a great example where I can now see partnerships that I need to work on importantly, a to-do list of emails, and emails that I'm waiting on. But for example, what's great about this example here of a priority view is I can now also drag items between views if I want to turn them into actions, which I think is a really lovely note on this. And for example, you can filter views. So this is an archived email, and so I don't want to see that in the view. So I'm going to go into edit, go to filter, and then add a new filter. Let's go with mailbox, and you can do all the kind of pretty recognizable Notion filter processes. So I could put does not contain archive, trash, or spam. And that means, as you'll see, it's now cleaned up this inbox to only show certain items. I really love that filter system. So we can group by certain statuses, filter by certain statuses, and you can even add extra properties. So for example, down here, these are the kind of standard properties that are available. I might want to like hide my keywords. I might even want to hide the body of the email or show the body of the email. So pretty powerful stuff. So let's talk about organization. Email overload is real, and Notion Mail aims to solve it by letting you create custom AI filters for your inbox. As you've seen, we can set up custom views for different types of emails, maybe one for client communications, another for newsletters, and a third for internal team updates. The system lets you sort, group, and filter emails as you want. But here's the real game changer. Notion's AI can automatically sort your incoming emails based on priorities that you set, and you can train the AI to recognize what type of emails matter most to you, and it will label and organize them automatically. Now, the AI autopilot feature is accessible from the top right of your inbox up here, and you can either set up your own custom labels or use the suggested ones that it offers based on your inbox patterns. Let me show you another example of this. Now, what I love about creating different views is it allows you to create separate inboxes from different workflows and needs. It's quite similar to Superhuman's split inbox feature, but with Notion's signature flexibility. Now, of course, you could just create a template and then edit it, but I'm going to do this. If you click auto label, you can choose to either split, and that's going to remove things from the inbox, just like Superhuman, and I can suggest what I want it to be. So this could be all emails from Superpeer and requests for consultancy or coaching sessions. If I click return, AI is now going through my inbox and finding those relevant emails and creating a label. Let's see how it does. Now you can see it's done pretty well. It's got Notion coaching responses, Team Superpeer, and you can just go through and check. That looks good. This is a Fathom meeting. I maybe would like to add that one. This one is definitely worth adding, and we're going to click save, and there you go. I've got emails from different people in here, and then I can rename this to be, and that should now automatically adjust things into that inbox. I can then add to this other things, like let's group them by priority, and let's actually change the group, remove the grouping. Really quickly, I could then go and group by, let's say, unread, to keep that really nice and clean. Pretty cool. Now, the second way to do this would be to click on New View and to configure manually. So I could now create something which does not contain spam, archive, or trash. Save it. Go back out, and you could now start to adjust things. So for example, I could do it to, and I can make sure that it's all the stuff that I've forwarded on to Better Creating Support, and then I can see everything that I've sent on where we were helping or dealing with inquiries. Save that, and then of course you can come up here, you can change the logo. I actually think that's quite good. Now that is a like button press moment if ever there was one, right? One more great example, if we use a template, is something like internal emails or even just emails from a specific group. So if I used Better Creating Internal as an example, this means that I can actually group things from the from field being from @bettercreating.com. But you could actually do it, for example, with everything from makenotion.com. So that's everything that Notion has ever sent to me. I quite like that one. I'm going to call it that, and I'm going to group that one by read and unread because I much prefer to do that. We rename that from Notion, and there you go. And on that AI filtering option, I can also do that from here, clicking New View and describing a view in here. So once you've created these AI filters, if you ever want to edit them, just go into Settings. You can click on Notion AI, and you can see the labels and auto features that we've created. and then you can deactivate or edit them from that area. So I could put in here a little bit more clarification, for example, like this, save it, and I can confirm that so that it does it. And if you ever want to deactivate it, you can do that there, and it deletes it. Well, if you're enjoying this, make sure you get subscribed and hit the like button below for more great content on Notion, productivity, and just the tech that will make your life better on this channel. Next, let's talk about how Notion Mail helps you respond faster. And one of my favorite features has to be snippets. Now, snippets, essentially, if we go into settings and click on snippets, are little shortcut options where you can insert items. Now, they've got some examples like this, which are a quick pre-formatted one that comes with it. I think there's 5 when you first open Notion Mail. And I love that you have these little bracket items that go into here. So you could, within this, insert a snippet within a snippet, weirdly. But this is a great example of a scheduling item where you would have put that in by going schedule, and you can drop it in like that. A good thing to first of all learn here is these / items, and you can kind of really build out an email with a lot of recognizable elements that you might see from Notion workspaces in the past. Once you've built your email, you can save it, give it a name and an icon if you want that, and color it up, and you can add subjects into there if you really want to. But what I like about this is keeping it really clean so it can just be dropped into the system as you need it. So if we click save on that, I've also created some other examples. Like this is mine on a thank you email to people saying they want to work with me on the YouTube channel. I share how I work. I can share a link to my partnership pack, of course, in Notion, but also a link to an actual file, which I can preview within the view. There you go. So when you're creating an email, you can click on this compose button. You'll see your stuff come up, and into here, I can either click the snippets button down the bottom and say, share a Zoom link. I can drop it in, very nice. Or I could do the / yes, give it something that you recall, and then drop that in. And that is speeding up your response time, no end. This is a great example. Now, I have in the past used Alfred to do this. People have used it, things like Superhuman. So I actually have, if you see here, a little command option to go snip in Alfred, find your snippets, and then I could go yes, and it would drop the same thing in. But it's just not as good. So this version is so much stronger and so much more intuitive. Big fan Notion, well done. The other great thing about this is that you can insert attachments, subjects and CCs and tos that are always there. So for example, if I created a new one here, which we call template inquiry response, in this, I might want to CC better creating support so that they're CC'd. So I can go, hi, thanks for inquiry. I might make this a little forward arrow and click save. It's added to the options. So now I can simply go / template, drop it in and click send. The speed is unbelievable. One of my other favorite kind of quick response options is to be able to drop Notion pages in. So for example, I might say to my friend, please take a look at content repurposing, and I should find my Notion page. I can drop it in, linked, and pretty quick, right? That is how quick you can do this. And of course, we've also got AI to improve your writing, which we'll get onto in a moment. Now, since the beta release, I've actually seen Notion simplify how the AI can do quick replies for you. It used to be that it would almost be able to fully draft emails. They've kept it much more accessible, and I think this snippets and quick reply options are much better. So for example, these are like those kind of quick responses, hi, no worries, thanks a lot in Gmail, but much more tailored. So here you could start a new reply with one of these nice examples. I can click not interested, it'll start drafting something, and I can add further stuff in. Well, I think this level of custom AI automation could replace a lot of people's other systems for automatic replies, sorting customer inquiries, all within the workspace. So let me know how you get on with it. And let's move on to the next item on the list, which has got to be built-in scheduling. Notion Mail also tackles the endless back and forth of scheduling meetings. First of all, if you are signed in to Notion Calendar on your account, you'll be able to see access to your Notion calendar with this deep integration. I think that's going to go much further. But what's really cool is this. Here's an imaginary email from a colleague that I want to schedule some time in. I can use the AI prompt to get us going and say this. And we can just go /schedule and you can add in a scheduling tool just like that. Another way to do it would be simply by going down to the bottom right and clicking insert availability. And I love this new interface they put in. This is developed since they started the beta. As I've watched it develop, it's been really satisfying. So look, I've got a reasonably busy day tomorrow, but what I could do is just go 1 p.m, drop that in. I could do 3 p.m. to 4 p.m, or since they're in America, I could do 7 to 8 in the UK. Fantastic, that's all dropped in. Let's give them an option on Tuesday just in case, and it's done. And here you can click edit or see the link. If I click through to the link, let's see what they would get. If we do that now, come over to the web and you'll see they would see this lovely view where they can go, okay, I'm going to select the thing, put their name in and schedule a meeting. And if you've connected multiple calendars to Notion Calendar, the system will show availability across all of them. Now, this built-in scheduling feature, as you can see from this, looks a bit like some of those other tools like Calendly or SavvyCal, but those are just to schedule meetings. So this is all integrated in one system for your workflow. I absolutely love it. So honestly, I recommend Notion Mail purely for this feature alone, but there's more to see. Finally, Notion Mail brings the beloved Notion editor to your email composer. You can use /commands to add things like text, headings, bullet points, code, quotes, images, and all this kind of color management. And of course, you'll see your snippets down here. Now, I think this is a huge upgrade for basic formatting options that most email clients just don't give you this easily. And if you're a Notion user, it just feels intuitive and recognizable. Plus, you can use your keyboard shortcuts to navigate your inbox quickly. And if you're familiar with shortcuts on Gmail, many of them are the same in this, but I would suggest you do Command K to see some of the options here. I want to also talk about the editor. So if I just paste in a little example of something. I recently did a video on how I manage knowledge in Notion. Talked a lot about Readwise, one of my favorite tools. I wanted to see if I could become an affiliate with them. If I highlight this, we see all of these options that you would see in Notion to, for example, improve the writing. There you go, it's simplified it. So I could say, great, let's just do that. But I can also do things like this. Click Ask AI. I can get it to do extra stuff. For example, I could say, please add to this message, and then I could go find the page, which is my media pack. There it is. Click on that. It's reading the Notion page now to inform what it writes. So you can actually create brand guidelines, style guidelines in your Notion workspace, reference them with Notion AI, and it will inform how it writes. For example, I can link to the video I mentioned them in, which is in my Notion workspace. Let's share some information about that. And there you go. It's actually used context from that video script to update the write-up. Pretty cool. And if you want proof, you can see here is the scripting, all the information on the video as I've planned it out, and it's read that page to then inform its write-up. Now let's talk about my feedback and what's missing from Notion Mail at launch, because there are some significant limitations worth noting. First, account support is limited to Google accounts only during the general access launch. This means that if you are using Outlook, Apple Mail, or even any other email provider, you'll have to wait for future updates. Now, I think there's a lot missing still for many people that Notion will add in the future, but notably, they are working on that mobile support right now. From what I understand, they've decided not to delay the core product by a few more months just to get these additional platforms ready, and they wanted to get the core experience to users sooner. The product is also only available in English at launch, with localization planned to follow around mid-May. So if it's mid-May 2025, you're fine. So what's coming next? Here's where things get really interesting. So I've got a sense from some inside conversations about what Notion is planning next for Mail, and it's going to make a lot of Notion Power users very happy if it happens. I know that they are working on a more focused support for Notion Mail to integrate with Notion databases, allowing users to reference and link emails, for example, to say their task managers and workspaces more deeply. This is something we all desperately want, and I personally cannot wait for that. It will bring a clean integration with my Notion Task Manager in Life OS and my email account. Finally, what could this look like? Well, let me know in the comments what you think about this, but here's what I think this could maybe look like. You'll be able to add emails directly to tasks on other database entries in Notion, possibly. Imagine being able to forward an email to your project database and have it automatically create a new task, for example. What about some persistent connections? The system could store a connection so that you'll be able to see the link from the email when you navigate back in Notion Mail. This creates two-way relationships between emails and your Notion workspace. I hope we see that soon. And 3, what I'd really like to see is property settings. There's a possibility you'll be able to set properties in the new Notion page when writing an email to a database. This would streamline workflow automation significantly. Now, beyond database integrations, I also predict that we'll see advanced filtering options for views, possibly including AI suggested filters based on your usage patterns, and maybe some more robust AI features for email management, like summarizing long email threads or identifying action items. Deeper integration with Calendar is definitely coming. We've seen that suggested with Calendar, possibly allowing you to manage events directly from emails. What do you think? Is Notion Mail actually worth it for you? What features or improvements would you love to see to make it your perfect email system? Let me know in the comments. I personally think this is a really thoughtfully designed email experience, and I'm really pleased to see it come out, particularly as the rest of this year, they are really focusing on the essentials with the main Notion app: speed, reliability, privacy, and offline mode. I think Notion Mail is giving us that lovely ability to customize an inbox to work in the way that we want. So give Notion Mail a try by heading over to mail.notion.so or download the Mac app from Notion's website, and make sure to pop over to bettercreating.com to check out my Notion Life OS templates and smaller template offerings to fast track to your perfect minimal workspace. But here's the rub, my friends. All this is great, but without the right mindset and approach to how you actually get things done, these systems and tools are just completely useless. So I recommend you watch this video next for my essential tips for simplifying managing your time and your daily workflow. Hit my face to get subscribed. I'll see you on the next one.